Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships, where today we're going to be featuring what I typically just call the F.D.G. I believe it is pronounced the Friedrich der Grosse. It's a German Tier 9 battleship in a tech tree, so we're going to be featuring it today, and then I'll be doing an upgraded commander build on the F.D.G tomorrow. But first, let's read from the WoW's wiki to share a little bit about the ship before diving in. Player opinion performance. Based on the unrealized H-39 designs, plans, and sharing her name with one of the Kaiser's sister ships, Friedrich der Grosse, English Frederick the Great, is essentially a Super Bismarck sporting the same ABXY turret layout, but with larger guns, the same secondary battery, but with a touch longer range, and the same hydroacoustic search, but with longer range and duration. And thanks to the gain in displacement, the Friedrich has a significantly larger hit pull than that of the Bismarck, but loses a bit of maneuverability and concealment in the process. As with Bismarck, Friedrich excels at close-range brawls, where the abysmal accuracy, and I mean abysmal, of her main guns is less of a factor, while her powerful secondary armament combined with her decent maneuverability and turret traverse can dish out the damage. Here, her turtleback armor and hydroacoustic search are key factors in protecting her from return fire. Unfortunately, with the rapidly increasing range and firepower at high tiers, combined with unprotected approaches on many maps, she runs a high risk of being focused and sunk if played too far forward at the beginning of the game. Captains should moderate their aggression until an opportunity for a combined push and or to run down a smaller group of enemies presents itself. With recent boosts to the accuracy of the German battleships, her accuracy has been improved to the point where she sits on par with her contemporaries at Tier 9. I don't know how honest I think that is, but she has a hard time hitting at range. Friedrich also has the ability to quickly deal with overextending cruisers and show themselves too quickly, despite having literally the lowest AP alpha strike of all Tier 9 battleships, as well as low DPM. Her turret traverse and quick as hell reload speed allow her to make sudden and surprising strikes on unsuspecting cruisers, often with impressive results. Friedrich has the option between two set of guns, slightly faster firing but lighter 4 and 6mm guns, and slightly slower firing but heavier 420mm guns. The differences are quite marginal in practice. Many captains opt to stay with the 406mm guns as the high rate of fire makes the poor accuracy slightly less frustrating, and the 420mm guns cost XP and credits. In this replay, we have the upgraded Hull B, which takes us from the 72,500 health hit point to the 84,300. And I'm just going to watch our reload time on our main battery here, because I'm pretty sure I have the 420mm in guns in this video. About to fire, I think. So I have to just really pay attention to that reload time bar. If I do fire, I'm waiting to try to go for the best option here. So that was 23 seconds. It could be that we have the 4 and 6mm guns. Where is the reload time?
That's how it's done. The ship is on fire.
I was hoping that it would actually share that with me here. I cannot find that here.
Problem solved, sir.
Well, we killed the battleship. Reload time. I might only have the 4 and 6mm guns, I think, in this video, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I don't think we had the 4 and 20mm. So, it's hard to remember with this ship. I'm sorry for the lack of talking there. Because I'm going to try to give my honest review with this ship, as I mean, I always try to do so. And that is I have not enjoyed playing the F.D.G. Typically when I play the F.D.G, I get 2 battles in before I'm done playing with it and switch to something else, just because I can get frustrated with the ship rather easily. And I think the player opinion when you're talking about moderating your aggression. Because you're the German battleship, you're built to brawl. Like, everything around the ship is built to brawl. And when you have to play at this kind of range you're seeing right now, it's like 15 kilometers away. In the beginning, you really get frustrated because you can have broadside targets and not do much damage. And you're like, well, if I'm going to play this far away, I'd rather just take something like the Iowa that has really superb accuracy. And you don't feel like you're contributing enough, so then you want to be able to push in. But then you end up pushing in too early, and you get focused down and died. So, as shared, you really have to wait for the opportune moments to push, which usually is not going to be the first half of the battle. So this first half of the battle is honestly a pretty slow start to a certain extent. We're under 14 minutes now, 57,000 damage. Just been taking some pot shots here and there, and we're having to wait for the opportunity to push, to move in. Now, when I'm looking on the mini-map at this point, there's a lot of us that are just, down here on this F.D.G line. And we need to get off. We need to start pushing up. So I'm going to position and going to start trying to help lead the charge of pushing in. Because if you look on the mini-map, our other flank has completely collapsed. We just have a British cruiser, the Cheshire, if I'm saying that right, is the only ship that's left on that flank. The CV's doing a good job. He's helping to support the flank. So basically, we need to push. Like, now is the time to move up. And we have a cyclone that's going to be, that has just started. We lose our Friesland. But the cyclone is actually going to be the saving grace of the F.D.G. I think if you're an F.D.G and you get a cyclone, you should be excited, because that means you can push in without being focus fired, because when the concealment gets down to 8 kilometers, it's really nice, and I think important as a brawling battleship. So only then are we going to shine, as it were, in the F.D.G, if I can put it that way. I think the things that frustrate me, even with the 406mm guns, is that you don't feel like you have that as high alpha strike, or there'll be times I fire on what I think is a battleship showing enough side, not focusing at shooting at the belt, of course, if they're still somewhat angled, or cruisers, and I get ricochets, torpedo belt protection hits. So now I have the 420mm guns mounted now, but at that cost of that reload time. But I feel like I do a little bit better with the damage I cause when I do hit a target. So I think it was right after this I upgraded from the 406mm guns to the 420mm guns, another battle or two. So this ship is just frustrating. If you're going to play the F.D.G well, you have to play passively in the first half of the battle, or unless you can identify an opportunity to push where you're not going to be risking much of your health pool. And here is an example in this battle where we, communicating in chat, where we as a team push, where we start pushing up now. We're going to eat 2 of these torpedoes, but avoid the other 2, to be able to push now. Because this is usually what happens to me in F.D.G. Usually, I choose the flank that I've spawned on. I go to support that flank, and then my team will crumble as a brawling battleship on the flank. And when your flank crumbles, you can't just simply push in. You have poor concealment. You have less maneuverability than Bismarck. And you get focused down quickly and you die. So what you're forced to do is that you have to kite away. And if there's a lot of HE spammers, especially since we're tier 9, and this is a tier 10 match, as you're kiting away, you still get focused down, and because your maneuverability and your concealment are poor, you're not really able to avoid much of the incoming damage coming in on you. So it can be a really frustrating experience, in my opinion. And usually when you're kiting away, you want to try to keep in the secondary range of the enemy ships, but when there's so many of them, you just have to keep running. and then wait, hopefully if your team has been successful on the opposite flank, to reunite with you or begin to put pressure, so then you can turn back in. So a lot of my experiences have been my flank collapses and I'm not able to do much in the FDG. Because you can't sustain yourself in prolonged fights, for example, like something like the Georgia, the Massachusetts, right? Your cooldown on your repair party is only 40 seconds. So then you can actually take a lot of damage and continue to heal and be really hard to finish off. Where in the case of the FDG, you have that the standard cooldown time on your repair party, which is like 80 seconds. So you'll likely get focused down before maybe you can pop off that the second heal. When those type of situations happen. So at tier 9, the Hull B to get the increased health point pool as really needed. And then I really think it could be up to you between the 4 and 6mm guns and 4 and 20mm guns. To me, I get frustrated by both, but at least with the 406mm, you have the reload time, better reload time than you do with the 4 and 20mm, but you get a little bit higher alpha with your HE and your armor piercing with the 4 and 20mm versus the 4 and 6. So, so far I've just opted to stick with the 4 and 20mm. Then you get the option of increasing your range, which to me doesn't really matter because this ship just sucks firing at range. There'll be broadside cruisers at 12 kilometers away from me, and I fire, and it just sprays just like a shotgun. Shells land all around. Yes, you'll be cursing the lack of accuracy with your main battery. And then propulsion, you go from 27.3 to 30 knots. So let's talk a little bit more about the battle and what's taking place here. So the Cyclone is hit. I'm not able to keep up with my team as they are pushing the Goliath and the other enemy ship, which I can't quite see on my mini map who it was. That's the CV, my bad. I can't keep up with them, but we have this push coming in. We have this Hipper here, and they're going to have an Izumo. And so for me, that's who I feel like I need to come back down because you see there, we had the Hipper's broadside. I was paying attention to the mini-map. We also have F.D.G to deal with, so we're going to be turning into him. Secondary is going, and trying to get the damage on him. Now, I do pop the hydroacoustic search just because I want to make sure that there's no torpedoes coming from Hipper's. He didn't get any death torpedoes off, per se. So, the improved hydroacoustic range is really nice compared to the Bismarck. Really enjoy it. So, I mean, when you are able to get into these brawling situations, the FDG begins to shine. Just as long as there's not too many enemy ships focusing you down. So far, it was a kind of we had one enemy ship, the Hipper. We dealt with him. And then we came across the enemy FDG. And we're trying to finish him off now, but I think he got a heal off. And there's a good example of our belt blocking damage. And trying to finish him off, and then we switched focus and attention to the Izumo. So basically we've just been finishing off these low health targets, per se. The enemy Ragnar hasn't been detected for quite some time now, so I think he's hunting for our CV somewhere on the HJ line, so he's not around us right now. But you can see that, when we made a decision to push, like, we had to make the push at that time. When our other flank collapsed. So that's something you would have to identify and then be able to point it out in chat to be able to make the push. I'm not sure if the Izumo is going to go for the ram, but I'm going to do my best to outmaneuver him here. He seems that he wasn't really paying attention too much to try to make the ram happen. He should have been turning in more sooner. So we get our guns turned in advance. I probably would have wanted them turned a little bit more, but we're going to be able to hit the rear of his citadel here and finish him off. So it's always amusing to me when someone tries to ram, and then I'm able to get the broadside salvo in. That deletes them. So, of course, to make that happen, we have to step outside of the cap, but it was more important to live to get the kill on the Izumo than just being able to stay in the cap to get that little additional base experience. So now we're switching our attention to the Russian CV, to figure out where he is. I am detected, and then we go dark. So I'm not sure if he's gone to the north, if he's gone to the west. I'm not sure at this point, so hopefully our friendly CV will be able to spot him. The Ragnar's still undetected at this point, but in this example, you can see the Cyclone really helped us out in making this play work. So I think there's two ways to make this ship work. I mean, Cyclone's always helpful. One is pushing with your team, like we pushed there. The second is utilizing islands well when you're pushing up. I had a battle, I can't remember what map it was on, but I was able to utilize these islands, and I pushed in. I made a pretty big play. I took out the enemy Des Moines. I was in the center of the map. There's these islands in the center. I was able to kill 2 enemy ships, and then I went to disengage, but the opposite flank, my team collapsed. So they focused me down quite quickly since there was no one between me and them. So that was a loss, even though I was making it work with the islands, but it's not enough when your flank collapses and the enemy team pushes in on you. So islands and just pushing with your team, identifying when is the best time to push. The Ragnar has been detected. He was hunting for our CV, but he dies to our CV instead. So he spent too much time disengaged, probably like 4 or 5 minutes, just not being present on for his team and helping. So at this point, the battle's won. We're just fishing for the CV with the shells. Our CV is still a bit away with his planes, so I'm just trying to guess where he might be to see if we can get an additional damage, additional shell hit, and just trying to make educated guesses. I'm still detected, so I know he's not gone behind the island, so that's kind of the reason for those shell placements and targeting. Yeah, and we got the spotter plane up, so... Ooh, and there's an overpin. So, yeah, educated guess there. So, yeah. So, to be honest, once I have the Grosse first now, the F.D.G will probably be a ship I rarely play. Just because I feel like there's other tier 9 battleships that do much better than the F.D.G, such as Georgia, Iowa. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other examples, but those are just 2 come off my mind because a lot of times you're going to be cursing the abysmal accuracy of your main turrets. So this is about as honest things I can say. F.D.G is meant to brawl. When you're not able to brawl, it sucks. That's how I can make it a quick summary. So 13,214 experience, 4,963 free XP, 136,000 damage. We got the 4 kills. Some of those kills, of course, the enemy ships were quite low on. We did get 201 secondary hits, so we're able to make our secondaries work for a bit. We just got over 2,000 base experience, and I did give compliments to the Zeitan. It's the new German battleship line, battle cruiser battleship line. Give him compliments. He did really good with getting over 2,100 base experience. And then going into our detailed report, you can see the damage off here. The Hipper is definitely killing a low health target, but the F.D.G, Izumo, not so much, and I guess Zeitan, we did a little more damage on him than I thought when he was our first kill. And then credits with premium counts and some few signals, temporary camouflage mounted, so on and so forth. So tomorrow, Saturday's video, we will be doing an upgrading commander build video on the F.D.G. I'll give you my thoughts and impressions and what I would recommend, and we'll see if there's some possibilities of some different build options, which there is. I won't spoil that, but there is one other option I think you could make work with F.D.G and GK that work a little better for them than, let's say, perhaps the Bismarck. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.